I'll speak loud enough where you guys can hear me. Like, hats off to Iowa, right? Like, it's a hard place to play. It's a great environment. The fans were into it like they always are. And these guys did what they needed to do to win, right? We hung around. We kept it close in the first half. We talked about transition and rebounding being keys to the game, and we were doing that in the first half. And, they flipped it on us. And they really punished us on the glass in the second half. And that's when they're tough to stop, right? They're getting offensive rebounds. They're getting easy baskets. They're getting to the free throw line. Now they're getting going. Threes get falling and everything else. So, they were the tougher team tonight. And they showed their makeup in terms of who they are and what they needed to do to win and respond from the loss to Rutgers. So hats off to them.
You guys had a 22-6 edge in the boards at one point, but then ended up losing the battle. What switched in your mind, for Iowa to come back on the boards like that?
I mean, it usually comes down to effort. That's all it is. That's all rebounding is effort. And we were getting some in the first half, and we were playing with great effort, and we were getting on the offensive glass, and they flipped it on us, right? Like, that's Fran, like, probably getting on those guys and challenging those guys, but it's also those guys going out and doing it, right? Like, you still have to go get it. And but it started with their bench. Like, I thought their bench, even though the scoring, like, obviously Chris Murray scored for them, and they didn't, score a boatload of points. But, like, Tony Perkins rebounding, like, really hurt us. And he was somebody that we were trying to help off of. You got to help off somebody, right? Murray's so good around the basket, scoring the ball and on the perimeter, and you have to help off somebody. And you can't help off Jordan and other guys. And we didn't go back and find him, right? We can help, but then the shot goes up and we never go back and find him. Now he gets it. He gets to the line. He gets offensive rebound. They start moving the ball. I thought what he did was key. But both the Murray brothers in terms of what they did on the glass, all of them really. Like Rebraca started in the second half the way he played. So they just out-toughed us, right? Like I say it all the time. The tougher team sets the rules. We were probably a tougher team in the first half, and they flipped it. They were a tougher team in the second half.
How difficult was it? I mean, Keegan's going to get some of his, but you were able to kind of neutralize him. How did the other players kind of come back and beat you? I mean, because otherwise, if you were to hold him to 15 and 8, you probably feel like you had a pretty good game.
Yeah, I mean, they just kind of did what they did. Like, Chris has played unbelievable. I guess if you go back, like I didn't watch much past beyond the Indiana game, but I know what he did in that game. And since then, he's playing with a lot of confidence, right? So he makes plays on the perimeter, and they put you in a bind when they got two guys that can both interchangeably go from around the basket to on the perimeter. There's not a lot of people in our league, especially, that have two guys that can guard like that similarly. So, they interchange back and forth, and it's hard to stop those guys in terms of what they're doing. They put some pressure on you. But the other guys, they make tough plays. Jordan, he's flying around. He takes a lot of energy from guys because you got to chase him. He's running around the whole game. You're chasing him around screens and everything out. Toussaint with his pressure and the defense and what he does. Patrick's driving to the rim, and he made 3 threes, 3 for 6 tonight. So they all stepped up. Right, it's hard to beat somebody when they all step up. Even though Keegan, he had 15 points, like other guys are scoring, other guys are doing things, and that's what a good team does.
Play these guys again in just 9 days. It's kind of rare, I guess. I mean, is that a good thing? In a way, to get back at it after. What's your
it is. Unfortunately for us, we got 3 straight road games. At Ohio State, at Indiana, at Iowa. And then we come home and play Iowa, right? So, the Big Ten's, it's unforgiving. Fran and I talked about it when I walked in today. But nobody feels sorry for me. Like, they're glad they won, right? They're not going to be like, hey, let's let these guys win when they go back to their place. I feel bad for them because of what happened to them. No, they're going to try and beat us again. And, we need to, we can't hang our heads, can't put our tails between our legs. We need to fight every single game. And, we're going to get home and we're going to prepare to beat Indiana, right? And that's what we're going to do. And then when that game's over, we're going to prepare to beat Iowa again. And we're going to do that every single game. We're going to give ourselves a chance, and we're going to fight and compete. And I know it'll be a fun game when those guys come back.
I know you saw a lot of really great players at Purdue. And does Keegan fit in any kind of category as far as comparisons go to maybe anybody you've schemed against or competed against?
I coached for the Boston Celtics for 6 years, right?
I'm not putting them there yet.
Competed against some pretty good players in that realm. Like what he does, the way he scores it around the basket, the way he steps out and shoots it, handles the ball. He's a good player, man. He's a really good player. I obviously being in the league last year, we talked about him, but Luka got so much attention, and the other two wings, I'm drawing a blank right now, Frederick and then Wieskamp. They were such good players, right? They take so much attention that he would come off the bench and he'd kind of slide in. Like he was probably a second-page guy on the scouting report. He is definitely not that now. But, that's an example for everybody, right? I talked to our team about it. I talked to, little kids in Iowa, little kids in Pennsylvania, Indiana, Ohio, wherever it may be. That's what hard work does for you, right? He didn't come here and, he wasn't happy with how much he was playing, or he wasn't happy with how much he's producing, and, he wasn't pouting. I don't know. I'm not in their locker room. I'm not at their practices every day, but it doesn't look like a kid that would be pouting or upset about that. He just put his head down, he worked, and he grinded. And that's what good players do. And, he didn't bow out of the situation. He waited his turn, and now he's taking, advantage of it. He's going to have a long career playing this game for as long as he wants to. And, now that I'm coaching in this league, I hope his long career starts next year. Matter of fact, I hope his long career starts, before they come back on Monday.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank you.
guys.